Welcome back to Etc. Podcast. I'm your host, Victor Long, my co-host, Mark. Mark, how you doing today on this fine, dandy Saturday afternoon?
I'm doing good, man. Doing great. We're matching colors today.
Yes, we are. Jeans. You had the jean theme. Yeah. I almost didn't do the jean theme, but you stuck through with the telepathic jean theme.
Yep. For those of y'all don't know, me and Victor always match accordingly without ever talking about it beforehand.
Yeah.
I mean, some days obviously not, but days where I feel like I don't think about it at all, it ends up happening.
One of the two of us always matches, and if it's the three of us with Q in addition, two of us will match, and one of us will forget the memo every time. And it's the same way with my sister. Me and my sister, like we're going to like any type of like family outing, or we're just like hanging out or whatever. Like we'll be in our rooms changing. We'll come out. We'll be matching, like coordinating.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's either we're like missing a thing where like one of us doesn't wear a hat. Or maybe it's the shirt color, we all wear black or something like that. Jacket, something similar. But yeah.
It's just that mental connection, you know? All right. Let's address the elephant in the room. And then we'll keep going.
Okay, because I wanted to talk about something.
They caught this guy, okay?
See?
Now I want to say, because I know what I said last week, and he got caught the day that the episode came out. I will still stand on what I said last week. And I think that he's a mole. And I don't think that he's the actual guy. Because if you look at the photos, bro got hella eyebrow.
And this guy doesn't. What's his name?
Luigi Manganiello. Something like that. Mangello.
Very Italian.
Luigi. Dude's buff as fuck.
Is he?
You ain't see that picture of him in Hawaii, bro?
No, I'm not looking at pictures of him.
Well, he's all over the news, bro. Like they have like
there's like mugshots. That's the only thing I see.
There's 3 photos. The mugshot.
That's the one.
There's one of him that he actually went to UPenn and he's at the Philly Museum, and you see that one. It's like a headshot of him like smiling, and then there's the one he's like, oh, like for the past whatever year or so he was like working. He's a software engineer. And he was working remotely in Hawaii. Wow. And there's a picture of him on a hike at the top of a mountain. Like, with all due respect, dude is jacked. Like, respectfully.
Luigi.
But everybody's like, he's such a nice guy. I saw this one girl post a TikTok. She was like, with him. Like, they would hang out, whatever. I guess they went to school together. So apparently he's like a really good guy. He had like back problems. He has like 4 or 5 plates like in his spine.
How was he jacked with that problem? That's crazy.
I mean, it could have been like a fitness related thing. Like some people get injured like deadlifting or whatever, but besides the point, that's probably like partially tied as to why he did what he did, because it's like he got rejected for his like coverage towards what he has going on. But I will say the way that they're handling all this still feels as though like it's not him. There was a news reporter standing outside the jail that he's being held at, and a bunch of inmates were yelling out the window like, yo, like he don't got a TV in here, like hook him up. Like everybody's like, they're rooting for him in there. Everybody's showing him mad love. And yeah, they're like, oh yeah, the fingerprints found in the scene. Like everybody's like, what fingerprints? We watched the video. It's like, besides the gun, like there's nothing to have footprints on. And then the dumbass lady that works at McDonald's that snitched them out.
Really?
You didn't hear about this? Where have you been?
Bro, when it comes to the news and stuff like that, I don't follow it.
All right, so y'all probably know, but I'm gonna explain it to my co-host over here.
Yep.
He was in a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. He stopped in. He was like, Bram, I'm on the run. I need a fucking McGriddle. He went in. The lady, I don't know how, but apparently the woman that was working there was like, oh, like I think that's the guy. Which I don't know how. What are you basing that off of?
Probably the same thing you would do. You'd probably be like, he looks kind of familiar. You'd be like, yo, that's the guy. Is that the guy?
Yeah, but like you have from a corner of the room camera angle that's half blurry. You see half his face, hey, no man, eyes.
They work in the food business industry, fast food. They look in the drive-through camera.
He was in the shop. That's another weird flag too. When's the last time you went into a fast food place? Unless it's like a late night out. Only time I've ever walked into a McDonald's is if like I was out partying and I'm like a little tips.
Walking through, I wouldn't even go in it.
That's what I'm saying. That's the last time I've been in one. I went to the one near Temple and like after like being out, and I walked in there and it was like there was like 3 older men playing chess on the one on Broad and Diamond.
Yeah.
There's these old guys that show up every day to play chess in there. And then it was a guy with a speaker playing music. And then there's just a bunch of Temple kids ordering McDonald's. And I think I got like the 10-piece nugget. That's besides the point.
So yeah,
she snitched them out. She saw him there. And you remember that there was a reward.
Yeah.
She didn't get a dime.
Yeah, I heard that there was somebody saying that she might not even get the reward.
She will not, because she called the police and didn't call the tip hotline.
That's so dumb. Why would anybody think like, oh, okay, I need to call the tip hotline first? Like my life could be in danger.
I mean, the police weren't offering the reward.
But regardless, they know that it was her. So like,
nah, that's stipulations.
That's so crazy, bro. I'm tight. At that point, it's like,
and it was only 10 bands, bro. And then on top of that, everybody knows what the McDonald's is. Everybody's pissed at this McDonald's for being the ones that snitched them out. So they're getting shitty reviews. They're in trouble. The lady lost her job. And this is what you get for not minding your fucking business.
I heard that there was a lady who got arrested because there was something with her healthcare stuff.
Yeah, and she repeated
the words
the
was on
3
the bullets. Yeah, and then she got
like,
arrested.
You're next.
And I was just like, bro,
they're not taking no chances.
I'm like, you can't arrest somebody for that. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like anybody, it's because I feel like for me that goes against like the freedom of speech. Like she could just say that unless she actually did something. Like
it was still like verbal assault, and especially around this time, like what is it? A week after that whole shit went down.
I mean, I guess, but it's just like unless you know that she's like physically going to do something, you can be wary about it. You can be like, oh, let me just like keep an eye on her. But to just arrest her, I'd be like, dang, bro, it was a joke. It was a joke.
yeah. Because I mean, freedom of speech don't mean freedom of consequence though. Because if I go on Twitter right now and I post like, oh, I'm about to go assassinate someone. The FBI is gonna be at my door, like no bullshit. Like that's happened before. People will be like, "Yo, like some shit that sounds cryptic as fuck about somebody in politics or like somebody important," and then people will knock at you. They're like, "Oh, we just with a printout of what you tweeted out." Like, is this you?
Oh yeah. Then what's this?
Oh, word,
bro. That ain't. Ah, man,
pussy.
Come on,
stand on it.
That ain't me, man. That's my burner, bro. That's somebody else. My friend took my account, bro.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's one. But I also want to stand on the fact that I do not think that that's the guy. I think that that's the guy taking the fall for it. And yeah, also the guy, the backpack he had a backpack on. That was like a big thing. They found Monopoly money inside. Did you hear about that?
I heard about that. Yeah, there was like it's filled with just Monopoly money. I'm like, okay, this is a joke. And when I saw that, I was like, this is a joke now.
The owner / CEO of that backpack company called the police and was like, oh, you found the bag? Give me the serial number. And then told them what's the name of the guy who like bought the bag. So just a lot of just snitching and not minding your own business out here.
People want to be heroes, Vic.
Yeah, but now you just look like a dickhead because now that company's also getting shit thrown on them. That backpack company.
I don't know.
You don't see JanSport doing no bullshit like that. JanSport still, they mind their business. They make their black book bags and put kids to school.
That's true.
But yeah. After like a week or so of this, and like obviously, people were viewing him as like a hero and all this, and like people were like, yo, he's a terrible person. And like after hearing some opinions and some different comparisons, I would liken him to like an anti-hero more so. So he's not a villain, he's not a hero, but he has the right idea in mind, but his methods are a little twisted and fucked up.
So he's a vigilante.
Yes. I likened him to like a Stain from My Hero or a Thanos, There's a purpose in what he's doing, but the way he's going about it is a little extreme for the masses. He's more about it than most people are. And that's where the issue lies. Now, obviously, murder is wrong. But there's a lot of people out here who hop on the internet and say they're about this cause, make all these changes happen. And when somebody really step up and make some shit happen, everybody's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Because what is the difference between you being a Twitter warrior about it?
That's true.
I'm not saying start catching bodies out here.
No, yeah.
But you think about like Stain, like from My Hero. If y'all don't know, there's a character named Stain in the show My Hero Academia who goes out of his way to kill heroes. It's a show about superheroes. But his beef was that there was a lot of people out here who claim to be heroes but really out it for the fame and for the money. And he was trying to cleanse the world of those heroes and keep the people who are genuinely being heroes for the sake of helping others. So it's like Luigi's not anti-healthcare.
Sorry, that name just keeps throwing me off.
Luigi. Luigi's not anti-healthcare, okay? All he cares about is making sure everybody gets taken care of, okay?
And his brother.
Him and Mario, they're in a lot of danger. They want to make sure.
Gotta make sure they all good, bro.
No, but he wants to make sure that he's not anti-healthcare, He's not saying healthcare shouldn't exist, but he wants to make sure that everybody who needs healthcare should have access to healthcare. And now there's people that are evil, that are claiming themselves to be heroes and really not, and they're just taking advantage of these people. And he had to cleanse them of that, Thanos was like, yo, everybody should have access to these resources, but there's too many people, so I'm going to clear out half of them to make sure everybody has more access. Is it the right way to go about it? No. But he's trying. You know,
he's trying.
He's trying his best.
He's doing his best, guys. Okay.
Yeah. Would I go to that extent? No.
Then what would you do?
I don't know. I feel like, to be completely honest with you, I'm tired of this mic fucking buzzing. Give me 1 second. Cover this dead space for me.
So, yeah, guys, I went to watch a movie.
Yeah, it's still buzzing. It's whatever. I'll edit it out.
Maybe nah.
To the extent that I would go, I don't know, because we've talked about this before, where it's like, and there's other things that kind of lead more into it. You can do as much as you can, much campaigning, much protesting, whatever. There's only a certain extent that like talking will get you to, and I understand why like it took it to this extreme. But look at where it gets you. You know, like he's probably, if he doesn't get out of this, first I want to touch on his lawyer in a second. I don't know if you've seen his lawyer, fucking legend. But you do this extreme thing, and obviously I will say, despite whatever happens, it has increased a lot of conversation, which like I can only wish to make that kind of impact in my life ever. Obviously he went about it a bad way, but think about how many people are like second guessing and questioning like what's going on with healthcare, or just billionaires or CEOs in general, and that kind of sense. Like there's a lot of people kind of being like,
free healthcare now, guys.
I doubt that. If we do within the next year, because of this man, build him a statue. No bullshit. I am not playing. I will build it. I'll pay for it. That is insane. Like that is such a thug way to do it. Even if he sends like, yo, like he's set for life, bro. Even the guards in there will be like, yo, like, appreciate you, bro.
You want anything?
That he'll be under protection for life. That'd be insane. Like that is, if that were to happen, that is
easily.
That is ideal.
To be honest, he would get out because clearly he'll get so much fame and recognition that people would want him out to then make appearances, talk, all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like he'll get out, whether if it's like from people in the U.S. or some connection where it's like he gets out here and then gets flown somewhere to, you know.
They might never admit it, but that Blue Cross saying like, oh, never mind, you can have as much anesthesia as you want. I feel like it had to do with him.
Yeah.
So like that's already crazy in and of itself. But yeah, like you go to that extent, you could technically, but then look how far it gets you. Now you're locked away and you can't continue to do what you meant to do. You're kind of like a martyr in that sense if he doesn't get out of this.
Yeah. Or they're like same situation, but they just kind of like try to cover it up and just put it away.
Like the worst possible thing that's going to happen is that, which will most likely happen, is that this passes, whatever, he gets his sentencing, and then we go back to getting effed over every single day with like the amount we pay for healthcare.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is going to happen, which is unfortunate. That's why I say like I would never go to that extent because it's really going to cause anything. Yeah. I feel like for shake something up to that extent, you need to like obliterate the entire system.
Obliterate.
Because if you like, this is another great transition into it. This guy got taken down or murdered. I'm sorry, like rest in peace. Sorry to your family, but. He got taken down. The company already has another CEO in place. He went up to a Zoom call or whatever it may be, and it got leaked of a video being like, oh, yeah, like, I'm sorry. Condolences to him and his family. But don't worry. This is going to pass. And it leaked out. And it was just him talking about like, yeah, like people were mad for now. Then a couple months from now, I was going to forget about it. And we're going to continue business as usual.
In their defense, I mean, it's true. That's how society works. You give it like 72 hours, people start to be like, oh, wait, I forgot that was actually going on right now. So it's like, it's one of those things where it can easily be forgotten. It's just
so much happens on a daily.
Yeah, but when you start bringing up, updates about it, then people are going to be like, oh, yeah, but then once it starts getting settled and it's going to go and just get washed away.
Yeah. So that's kind of like why I would never go to that extent. But like I said, we've talked about this before where it's like you can try to start a revolution, but even if you get some certain level of influence or you become a threat, you automatically like, a car accident happens and you're no longer around. So that's why I say like it's hard to get. But going to the peaceful route isn't doing anything either, obviously. And then if you want to be like, oh, I'm going to do it from the inside and I'm going to take this career path and try and get in there, it's like you probably won't get very far climbing up the ranks unless you become a little bit unethical about it. Yeah. Like you don't become a CEO making like multi-millions per year unless you're willing to like step on some heads and make profit.
Yeah.
So.
Which I'm very surprised he didn't hearing that you said that he was a software engineer, I'm surprised he just didn't just hack the system. Like,
yeah, but then it's like, how long do you do that for? You hack it and then
I mean, you hack it to the point,
and then
you hack it. I mean, like that's the thing. Like, it depends on the type of level of hacking you are. If you're like national level, like a hacker, like at that point, that's when I would like hack it, make it public, leak stuff. Like, this is what they do. This so that
but we know what they do.
So they can't turn around.
It's like there's no
I feel
secret.
like you say we know what they do, and I'm gonna be honest. I feel like that's just a very low amount of people that know. That's what I'm saying. Like you say, I say put it out there so that every single person knows. Because I feel like some people might know, some people are just like, I'm not paying attention. I don't care.
Not know what though, because like every time you go to a hospital or something, or the fact that we're having to pay for it every month is a big thing. Or if you ever look at a hospital bill, like a genuine hospital bill, before and after like insurance.
Yeah.
And most people do not be like, yo, can you tell me why? Like, they just give you a total. Can you tell me can you break down these charges for me?
Yeah, this is the entrance fee.
Like they just start pulling shit out their ass.
This is the entrance fee, and this is the walk into the hallway fee.
And then not even like, we're not even number one in health, like quality of healthcare, but we're the most expensive. And it's not like this is a worldwide issue. Because if you go somewhere else, they get the same level of the care, if not better, for close to nothing. Why does it cost fucking like a couple of grand to take an ambulance?
Yeah.
What gas is in the ambulance?
Hey man, that's that diesel.
How expensive is the fucking stretcher that they put you on?
It's made from bamboo.
Do you know how much an EMT makes?
No.
Not a lot. I thought about I was like, yo, they probably make hella bread. Let me sign up to be EMT. They don't make shit for what they do. So who's getting that money? That's the point I'm trying to make. It's not a secret. It's just it's something that people know about, but they accept.
Okay. I agree. I just still feel like when you put it out there so far, because like you were just saying, like, what are all these expenses going to, or like the bill, like why is it like that? I feel like that's the thing where you put it out more to explain exactly why they end up making those fees and where they even put them at to begin with.
Because they just pull it out their ass. If they do that, then they have to explain further.
Exactly.
But then what? Okay, it comes out, then what?
Then more people know about it. They can't really hide from it, which they think they are doing, even though they easily blatantly do it. So I just think it just makes it more of a thing where it's like you start putting that out, you start having people protest about it, because I think that's one of those things where it's like if you could protest about it, eventually I feel like that's something that can easily go and change something. Just because it's in our country, and it's also something that I feel like is very important, because obviously we need that stuff to like go through our day. Unfortunately, to like if we have accidents and stuff like that, like people need that. And I just feel like that's one of those things that I think could benefit if things were more out in the front, just blatantly out there.
So you think if we complain about it enough, they would like drop prices just out of the kindness of their heart?
I think, yeah. And I think more so you complain about it, but also take some type of action. I don't know the exact action you would do for that, but I mean, like, I'm trying to think of like.
No, brother.
I know there's a way. There's a way.
There is. Luigi tried it.
Oh, batteries.
Yeah, that one was, I already know it was low. Luigi tried it.
Hey, man, I think you can do something with it. That's just my opinion.
Hey, try it out. But it's like, people are just price gouging for the sake of price gouging. And it's like, all right, if we complain, it's like, oh, sorry, guys, we didn't mean to charge you so much. We're going to bring it back down. They're not going to do that. Once the price is up and people are used to paying it, what's the point of bringing it down if people are going to continue to pay for it? And people need healthcare. The truth
we just all don't get healthcare. Let's just do that.
The truth is destroying the system that we're currently running and in place a new one. And that only happens or will be the case if the people in charge are also benefiting from the profit that's coming out of it.
So you're saying that it's just never going to change?
Until there is a change in the system, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because otherwise, what incentive do they have? If they were nice, they wouldn't have done it in the first place.
This is true.
Nah. So, like I said, I think this guy's a mole. There's another guy who actually did the shit. He's on his way out. They have a lot of money to make this shit happen. Same thing with like ChatGPT. You seen that thing? happened yesterday. There's a guy who used to work for ChatGPT, or OpenAI is the parent company that makes ChatGPT. He used to work for them up until 2022 or something like that. He was like a part of their research to help build up ChatGPT. And after a certain point, he realized that they were like infringing upon copyright laws. Basically, like, because you know how like AI works in the sense where they pull information that's already out there, interpret it in a way, and kind of like use all that information together to give you an answer. He claimed that ChatGPT or OpenAI was basically using people's content as a resource without them knowing, which is like a copyright thing. Obviously, same thing as like we were to use a song on YouTube that isn't ours. So he spoke about it. He was a whistleblower about it. And after he was present in court and made his claims and said everything about OpenAI, he committed suicide yesterday. Now, I want to say very strongly, committed suicide yesterday. So that's another thing. He's 26 years old. Software guy, did his thing, you know, and he felt like he was doing the right thing, which he was. But have you seen how rapidly AI has evolved in the past year? Like it was not in the hands of it was not in everybody's hands up until like a year or so ago. Obviously it existed, but it was still in early development. But now it's so widespread that everybody has it in their phone. It's already $1 billion, if not $1 trillion industry. And now he was trying to expose them for doing stuff that they weren't not supposed to be doing. One single little kid, and now he's gone. Mm-hmm. Same thing what I talked about before with Boeing when he went to that court case, and then he went to his truck, and then he's no longer, you know, he had enough. That was his last duty before he decided to check out.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's very big now, so I guess something had to happen behind the scenes.
It's just so wild, like crazy how like when money gets into how scary shit can get. Because like even in the early stages, like AI was cute, you know. It's like, oh, like there's this cool. It sounds like a cool Drake song. It sounds like something he would make. This is cool.
Yeah,
AI is kind of cool. Oh, cool. I can make these cool little images, or it can help me write an email for me. But now it's to the point where like some things are indistinguishable. A lot of would name a company that doesn't have AI implemented into their platform right now. Everybody has everything surrounded around AI. Zoom, the video call people Zoom, just changed they no longer call themselves like a video call company. They're an AI company now. They just completely dropped it.
Interesting.
So it's just crazy to think about how fast it's evolved from being this cute little thing, this cute little tool in your phone, to something that can genuinely like ruin lives or make your life so much better. And now there's so much money in it because of the data that people utilize that now lives are getting like checked out. And you could look at me, like you could call me some crazy conspiracy bull, but I feel like it's so clearly like written on the walls that I feel like it's hard to ignore.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's scary. It is interesting something like that happens. I mean, I wouldn't ever think that something like that. I mean, like it makes sense though, but it's just crazy to think, like you said, how recent I feel like AI has come out, and now it's like at the point where it's like it's almost thought of where it's like it can't be lived without, I guess. Like it's just one of those things where I feel like people just want to have it because they need it, and now they're just
becoming a crutch.
Depending on it. That's kind of what I was going to say.
It's becoming a crutch for a lot of people, yeah.
And it's just like so crazy to think about.
But like the awesome real, like the future shit, like the shit that we consider future is like happening like right now, like real shit. Like I was thinking about this yesterday, like just preparing for today. And you think about like Cortana is here, bro. Like Halo, like that is here. Like no hologram, but like I can pull out my phone right now with Apple AI or ChatGPT and be like, ChatGPT, only respond to the name Tim. I'm like, yo, Tim, can you pull up the best 5 restaurants in this area? And then fucking they'll give you a map with drops everywhere and shit.
I think there was like commercials and ads about Google AI.
Yeah, and it was like, can you do this?
And thing where it's like mainly more so like you can. It's not even about asking questions. It's more just having a conversation.
Yeah,
with it. You know, it's like you can just talk about like, oh, how you're feeling today, and then they'll talk to you.
Yeah, you can have AI friends.
Yeah, and they even just like almost like a therapist, like all that stuff, and it's just kind of crazy to think about. Which I mean, is scary because we already had an incident where something like that happened where. You know, what was the story where the person committed suicide, I think. Not this one. It was something with ChatGPT.
Oh, it might be confusing the story, but I know there was one person that like thought they had a girlfriend, but it was like actually like ChatGPT or some shit, like AI.
Well, I thought it was one of those things. It was like a situation where ChatGPT told him to just like off themselves or something like that.
Yeah, I don't.
I feel like I remember I heard about a story like that where it was like a lot. It was really during like kind of like the earlier stages of it. I may have been like during the first year it was out or something like that. And again, that's the point where it was like it wasn't really perfected. I guess it was more so like beta, probably, if anything. And it just gave them like information like that where they were just, I think they were like depressed and like they were trying to like get and just talk to it. And then I think it ended up just saying like, oh, it just and they did it. And it was just like, that's when I realized, I'm like, yo, that's the point where it gets scary, where I wouldn't make it to where it responds to emotion. It gives advice about emotion because it's a computer.
It doesn't think the exact same way.
Yeah, it doesn't have emotion. So it's like, how does it know? But yeah.
It's kind of spooky. And then, yeah, as I was saying, like that's another, or like the Tesla robots, this shit is going on, or like driverless cars. Like that's real now. Like that's not a joke. Like that's not sci-fi.
Oh yeah.
We have it now.
Yeah.
Bullet trains, drones that deliver packages. Yeah, but like we could let go of the flying car shit. You know, like I know it's a cool concept and like I'm pretty sure people are working on it, but what is going to change?
Yeah, I get to work faster, man.
You're just moving the traffic that's on the ground in the air. And now not only are you doing that, flying car accidents. What happens to the debris there and the pedestrians going on around it?
That's the thing. They got to figure it out.
Cool. That's what I'm saying. Let's let this go until they figure it out. We have cars that can drive themselves. We have robots that are our own little servants. We have little AI dogs that also do the same shit, and they can run like fucking animals.
Oh yeah.
We have things in our pocket right now that can generate images, voices, sound. You could tell ChatGPT like, yo, can you speak back to me in a full-on patois Jamaican accent? And it'll do it. It'll be like, can you give me the layout to how to learn Chinese in 6 months? And it'll do it it'll give you a legitimate plan on how to do it.
Yeah.
We have so much resource, more than we ever had in our entire lives, and people still can't figure out how to work a printer. Like the world is advancing so much faster than we have the ability to like keep up with. There are people right now with chips in their brain.
Do we ever get updates on that?
Some people are still testing it out, still working with it. There are people who have chips in their palms to go pay for shit in Amazon stores. They have their credit card in their palms so they can pay for shit.
I was thinking, like, what happens when it expires? It probably just changed.
Yeah, it's digital, yeah.
So you're saying you're not excited for the future?
I'm 100% excited. I'm just saying it's crazy how fast things are advancing. And I forget what the theory or like the principle is, but I remember being in school and they talked about it where it's like the rate at which technology advances is like insane. There's somebody smarter out there that can explain it so much better than me. But technology advances so rapidly more than we can be able to keep up with. Think about, like, we were born 98, right? It was flip phones, fat back TVs.
Yeah.
We're each 26. Was in the span of 25 years, look at how much has advanced. We went from like fat back TVs to one's fucking thinner than a credit card that has 4K quality on it. Okay.
Even 8K.
Yes. There's the thing about like the car, like the comment, like we went from Model T to up until now, so we have cars that can reach hundreds of miles per hour, ones that can drive themselves, one that don't run on gas.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Like wild.
Electric.
AI. Look at AI a year ago up until now. We had like fucking shitty quality Twitch AI streams that were going on, and like the translations or the wording wasn't great. Now there's photos and filters and just all this other shit that AI does. It's almost like, unless you're really, really trained to look at it, some of them you cannot tell the difference.
Yeah.
Now there's I feel like now there's a point where there's some common, since it is an algorithm, there's some consistency on like how certain things will look, or some things that it can't perfect, like hands and stuff like that, or eyes. But like the high quality ones look really, really good.
You ever see on TikTok the AI dog with the apple in its mouth?
No.
Oh, Jones is so weird.
Yeah. I might have, but
it's literally the same clip of how it starts, but then as it goes on the same point, something else just randomly happens.
Oh yeah, didn't he hop on somebody on the back? I saw that this morning.
Like it's just, bro, people has made so many things of just that one John where it's like another apple, like weird looking creature of like it's an apple. It comes and it tries to take the apple and starts fighting with it. I'm like, yo, what is this, bro? It's really dumb. But yeah, just that stuff. But I see what you're talking about because I noticed it too, where like again, to somebody who probably is a lot older and doesn't really like notice those things, you can easily.
That's another thing too. Is like think about our parents.
Yeah, and I think honestly, it sucks because like they're that generation where I just feel like they won't. I mean, I feel like they have some time to understand it, but it's also the idea of like if they want to. If they don't,
they're still like on the early stages of figuring this. Like, exactly. You ever ask a parent to take a photo with their phone?
It's not even about taking a photo with a phone. It's about like if you ask them one specific thing, like, "Oh, like, can you just turn the flash off?"
Yeah,
it's like that's it. You don't even ask them to do that. Like, it's impossible. Don't get me wrong. The layout sometimes can be a little confusing, but still, like, they'll never be able to like figure that out easily.
Like they're still trying to grasp that, and the phone has gone light years beyond that already.
For sure, yeah.
So they're like so behind in the dust. Like as respectfully that I can say,
which is what you said about the whole printer thing. Because don't get me wrong, I feel like if you're not in the setting where you need to use a printer a lot, I feel like anybody.
But they're not new.
Yeah, no,
they've been around for a long time.
They've been around for a long time. But again, like if you never needed to use like a printer or like. Because again, if you're like going through school, yeah, you might have had to use it a few times. Mm-hmm. But like there's so many other settings on a printer that you would be like, I didn't know this was even on here.
Yeah.
Because you just needed to just print paper. That's it. But that's one of those things where it's like, if you never need to use it for all the specific things, like me, I probably would still be like, I'm not sure how to do that specific thing if you ask me, unless it's just to print a piece of paper out. So
yeah, but some people, at my job, people still struggle with that.
How do you print?
Yeah, like
Control what? P?
And that's what I'm trying to, it's like, yo, like, and it's only going to get more difficult. Like by the time somebody right now were to try to catch up to where the state we're at now, say if it took a year, it's already going to be like 10 years ahead from that. Think about even before AI was super, super crazy, deepfakes were a thing and it were possible and really, really close sounding and looking. And now you can do that like with your phone. I don't know if you've seen, there's these two guys that like look similar to them, but they use a filter on their face to look like Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
And look at how crazy that looks.
They're in like a different country, like kind of, right?
Yeah.
Or something.
But like, look at how wild that looks. And it's only going to get better and better and better. And it's going to cause problems. Like obviously now it's cute and funny to do it for funny videos on TikTok. But if you live in a world where you can do that to like high profile figures, and the way that all of our faces are already on social media and out there, like all the times we use like filters or videos or whatever, people can rip your face off and do anything. Think about somebody who's famous. And you can do that to like fucking blackmail like celebrities and shit if for anything like that.
I think it's gonna come down to, and I think it needs to happen now, if I'm being honest. It doesn't have to be perfected within the year, but definitely needs to start thinking about and start getting in development of just like security around that. As far
there
as
needs to be laws around it, but there's nothing yet, and like it's too late almost.
Yeah, but I just think of it of like there's gonna obviously have to be probably disclaimers, but obviously like. Because I think of it as like when you're talking about how the person's using the filters to look like Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, it's like, again, like you said, it's just for TikTok, it's just for fun, it's just for comedy. But then if you start using it for things like, hey, I'm going to
real world shit,
I'm going to make myself look like maybe this like president of this country and do something crazy online to then make it seem like they did it, and then it starts to be like, yo, it looked like this person did murder, but then it's like. Not even that person. So it's like things like that where it's like, then there has to be security to be able to be like, okay, if somebody did use a filter, how can we like almost in a sense decrypt it to where it's like, we know that that's not that person. We find out who it is and then all that stuff. But
or even like you think about now, Twitters and shit get hacked. You don't know who's behind the screen. Now you take it to a further extent like that, or even phone calls. If you have somebody's like, oh, sound like this person, and you authorize shit like it gets very, very scary very fast, especially with very intelligent people who know how to like manipulate that kind of thing. You can do that to the extent of like country leaders speaking to other country leaders if you manipulate those systems or videos or emails. And
imagine what the one boy would have did in that other country where he was banging all the guys' wives. He's wild, bro.
So it gets very, very scary. And that's where I kind of think about, like, obviously it's exciting technology advancing because I'm like a huge tech person. I love all that shit. But when you think about the dark side of it and where it can go, we have like it's going to be a real problem.
Yeah, you just think about of like all those type of like dystopian type of movies where technology is really advanced. Not even to the point where it's like robots taking over, just to the point where it's like you realize that it got so far to the point where you need it for everything, and that there's so much of it that the basic sense of life is just kind of like an enigma where it's just like not even thought of anymore. You kind of like rely on the like technology point of everything, where it'll be like just to getting up in the morning, to brushing your teeth, to like making food. It's just like, yeah. WALL-E, yeah. But that's whether or not we choose to depend on it to just even make ourselves like not fit anymore. Like we just...
Most people will though. That's the scary part. And most people don't do that now. We already have an obesity problem now.
You're right. Yeah, we do.
So imagine if it became even more easier to be a lazy piece of shit.
This is true.
Or even just thinking or creativity is like, I purposely try to avoid doing this just because there is an importance of like not relying on this kind of thing. But you think about imagine being in St. Peter's or high school with ChatGPT now.
Yeah.
ChatGPT, make me this PowerPoint about whatever bullshit they had us doing.
At that point, it would just be like, okay, who asked Chat GPT the best question to make the PowerPoint the best?
Exactly. I mean?
It's not even about what even was supposed to be about. It's just like, oh wow, so you added this filter for it.
I just had this thought now, kind of, but like, say you become that reliant on it. There's already a literacy problem now in American schools right now, with like kids that are like in 8th grade reading on like a 2nd grade level because of something like this, or like lack of teaching. So imagine when you lean on a crutch like that heavy. How do you tell a kid to not get into that temptation? Yeah. Now it almost comes to a point where like, it sounds extreme, but do you consider going to school purely with like no technology or limited technology?
Yeah, it would definitely have to be limited. And I feel like they even did that when we were going to school. You know, like there was certain stuff you couldn't do for the most part, but at that point too, we were also like, not that advanced. Like there wasn't that much out to really manipulate and use to help us out.
But like even to like, it's like, yo, like everything handwritten, or like you have to do these things like by the book, like no technology, no computer, because otherwise you're gonna like go that route of like cheating your way out of it. And I'm saying that in the sense, obviously, like you would like to not think that way, but most people are gonna cheat them ways out of it, and it's gonna get to a point where you're gonna have like high schoolers that can like barely do like times tables because they're so heavily reliant on like certain things.
Yeah, it might be to the point where you have to like, there's not even like homework or book reports at home. It's all, it needs to be in school, just because
otherwise you're probably gonna, you're 99.9% chance you're gonna cheat.
Yeah, that's the only way I can see it happening, really. But then again, well, no, yeah, that seems right. My thing was just gonna be like, if at that point in the future where it almost seems like scary, because then like, I don't know, it depends on the repercussions of it though. But I mean, like, I don't know how far they would take it, but yeah.
But that's one thing. It's like if you fully rely on it, it's gonna get to a point. It sounds crazy to say, but it will genuinely get to a point where people will not know how to do like basic shit, and we're just gonna become more stupid and more dependent on it, and that becomes an issue. I did want to talk about the alien drones in New Jersey, but we're kind of going crazy on time. I don't know if you've seen that.
My mom just told me about it.
Yeah, there's like drones flying over, and then New Jersey and like local government have no idea. They're like, oh, well, we don't know what it is, and it's like they're like, oh yeah, 6 foot, 8 foot long drones that we can't follow or can't get pictures of, or whatever.
Somehow they never can get them.
Yeah, but I'm just, this is just further, like, you know, people say, oh, like we live in a simulation. I don't think we do, but it's becoming, because they're doing such a bad job of like cover-ups and lying, it's becoming more and more obvious how much of life is like orchestrated / like created or fabricated on its own. Because what do you mean you don't know where it went? You're just shrugging your shoulders like, just tell us that some guy in his backyard had a drone and then we gave him a citation and that's it. Now you're just like, it could be aliens. We don't know. We couldn't catch up to it. It's like,
that's the reason why I don't even bother. Not that I don't like keep up with it, but more so like if I hear about it, I won't like dig too deep about it, because I feel like most 9 out of 10 times the full story isn't even developed yet. It's literally just on the surface of, we saw this, we're scared, you guys should be scared too.
Yeah.
And then find out like a couple days later, it was just some guys, it was in his backyard. That was all it is. We followed up with him, we talked with him, and everything's okay. And you're just like, oh, okay.
But when I say that, I'm like, at least say that just so we can fall off of it. If you're going to do a bad job if you're going to try and lie to us about it, like if it truly is aliens, because like the FBI came out and said like, yo, like aliens are real. Like we have like seen contact of that before and whatever. If that's the case, at least do a proper job of like acting like it isn't or whatever it may be. If you're going to say it's some random guy, at least it's like, all right, cool. Like you settled the story, even if it is a bullshit lie, you did a good job of it. Now, we have this guy who shot up a CEO on camera, and it's like, oh yeah, we arrested him. It's over. And then it's just like this super convenient, all this evidence comes out. It's like, yeah, we have fingerprints. And he wrote this whole paragraph out saying why he did it and all this other shit. It's like, really?
Yeah.
It was that easy? But y'all were like freaking out how he was such a professional. He was so professional, but he walked into a Starbucks with his face uncovered, and he went to McDonald's with his face uncovered. He was such a pro. He had a 3D printed gun, and that's why it jammed.
That's why they need to, make the story more interesting.
But they don't anymore. It's like they don't care.
Well, I feel like
that's what's frustrating me.
It's more for them, and also more for people who obviously don't keep up or don't obviously like, who are very gullible, I would say. Because I feel like a lot of people who are gullible will sit there and just be like, oh, yeah, that makes so much sense. That's why. Yeah, I believe it, But if you can clearly see the rhythm of how like the news is, it's like, yo, understand it.
That was the question I was asking myself yesterday during this, like when I was thinking this through, is like, are they giving less of a fuck to cover it up? Or are we just becoming more intelligent to peep this shit out? Because like you said, a lot of people are gullible and it works for most people. Mm-hmm. But if you just ask a simple question as to why or what, you start to unveil how much of it is bullshit. Because if I don't watch the news and I don't sit down and watch it, but like if my family has it on and it's like playing on in the background, you know how many times I'll hear them say something and I just turn my head like, huh? That's such a bold-faced lie.
Yeah.
Especially when we have like access to news that isn't biased to the US at all. You can see a lot of the times how much we try to like twist history a little bit. And that's my frustration. It's like, I know that we have no choice in a lot of the matter, like elections and shit or whatever. Like, it's going to go the way that they want it to pan out. Mm-hmm. It's always going to be in their favor because they control it most of the time. If it were like any different, things would have changed a long time ago. Because there's no way that this many people are struggling and we all chose to be struggling to this extent.
Yeah.
But at least if you're going to like have us be living a life of like ignorance is bliss, at least like do it right. At least do us the courtesy of believing that like what you're saying is the truth.
That this stuff is actually happening.
Yeah, but
you guys are just in the dark as much as we are.
Yeah, but like that's not like, I just feel like you guys are like half lying to us and like grinning when you say it. And it's like, yo, at least do a good job.
I think at this point it's also just like they realize how bad showbiz is in a sense of just like media, like that type of media, news, like newsworthy media. So even like ETV, like all those type of like media, like anything surrounding by anything that's like upcoming or new, it's just like I feel like they're realizing how just like much people aren't paying attention to that anymore. Mm-hmm. So they have to just kind of orchestrate this type of like these stories to like make people be more interested and to watch the news more, to watch those like red carpet events or whatever those things are, just to get people to be like, yeah, like people still want to find out about like why Jennifer Lopez.
E-News.
There you go. E-News.
I was like, ETV, that's us.
No, I was like, bro, again, this is how much, again, I don't watch that stuff, but just extra. But yeah, all those things just because they want to find out like what's new, what's happening, what's popular, but also at the same time, like keep you guys popular in suspense because we also don't know what's going on. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you.
I feel like it's just
that's another part of it as well because these people are eating off this Luigi stuff.
Yeah,
they're gonna milk this out until whenever his like court stuff. Yeah, I forgot to mention his lawyer. His lawyer is the most like Better Call Saul, like Italian wise guy, New Yorker ever. It's the most funniest thing ever. He went into I don't know if you saw. Have you seen anything of him?
No.
It's like this older bald guy. He went into the podium. He's like, it says that you pled not guilty to all accounts. He was just like, I haven't seen any evidence. there's nothing. He was like, show it to me. Show me the evidence. He went like this and he's like, you guys have nothing. My guy's innocent. I was like, yo, this is exactly who you needed for this job.
Nothing. He has nothing.
I was like, this is incredible. But yeah, we've been going for hella long. We're almost at an hour episode. We haven't done that. 45 minutes. We haven't done that in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I could keep talking about this for hours, but we're gonna let y'all off the leash. Mark, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, just we love you guys. Stay safe out there. Be very cautious to the news you digest, and always ask why, as Victor would say. And yeah, we love you guys, and we'll see you next week. Victor, where can they find you?
Find me everywhere at ETC Victor. If y'all ain't know, I made my own channel. We still gonna do our gaming videos together with multiplayer shit, but my channel is more so like single player stuff, like story driven stuff that I can't play with Mark. So like I was like, I want to play these games, so I'll play single player. So if you want to check that out, if y'all fuck with me, then you can check that out. ECC is at real etc. Emails real.etc@gmail.com. And that's all we got for today. We'll see you guys next week. We out of the back room, so if y'all ain't peeped that, go peep that.
Yes.
We finally did it, y'all. Love y'all. See you next week. Bye.
Peace.